Good afternoon. I'm Margie Kangas, and this is the news. There's been a threat on Henry Kissinger's life. There are reports the threat originated in the United States. Kissinger arrived in London today and met heavy security at the airport. Both the United States and British agents were on hand to protect Mr. Kissinger. The Secretary of State is en route to the Middle East with a stop-off in London. And in the Middle East, tank duels broke out along the Golan Heights area today. Israel and Syria continue to clash on the border, and this was the second frontier battle in 2 days. However, Egypt and Israel seem to be making progress in their talks on troop withdrawals along the Suez. This is the first step toward permanent peace, even though there have been a rash of ceasefire violations along the canal in recent days. Back here in Washington, President Nixon met with top Republicans at the White House today to plan strategy for the congressional election next year. Mr. Nixon says he's ready to help GOP candidates. Vice President Gerald Ford was there and contributed to the overall plans. Vice President Ford is expected to hit the campaign trail early next year to help local GOP candidates. Republican stalwarts are wondering, however, whether Nixon's participation will help or hurt in view of the Watergate scandal. And in New York, Nelson Rockefeller is resigning. He's made the decision after 15 years of service as New York's governor. Malcolm Wilson, lieutenant governor, will take over, and it's agreed he'll use the year as governor to establish his candidacy for next year's election. Mr. Rockefeller says he will devote his time to public service, but rumors are that he will make his bid for the presidential nomination. Should local schools provide classes for children who don't speak English? That's the big question in San Francisco, where a suit has been filed on behalf of the city's Chinese school students. A court of appeals recently ruled that schools are not required to provide special English courses for Chinese children. However, the decision is being appealed. The Supreme Court now has the case in hand and will make its decision soon. And in another suit, 6 members of the San Francisco 49ers are suing to regain money they lost in some questionable investments. Several companies are named in the suit, along with a financial advisor who counsels professional athletes. And that's the news, Claude.
Marge, are there any more details yet on this threat against Kissinger?
Actually, there weren't very many details. In fact, the report was that the threats came from across the Atlantic, and so not even actually naming the United States, but that's, of course, across the Atlantic.
No indication whether it's a pro this, that?
Nothing.
Anti this, that.
But you can bet that he'll be guarded.
Now, on this business of the coming GOP campaign efforts and the president's role in the campaigning, what's the speculation now as to how well the Republicans are going to do in light of Watergate and related scandals?
I don't think that people will be able to forget the Watergate business. I think that the more President Nixon helps by staying away, the better. I think everyone is very interested in Vice President Gerald Ford. I think that he'll be able to do a good job.
He is going to be hitting the campaign trail and campaigning in a heavy way. Of course, Nixon more or less proved that as far as his own campaign was concerned, he did better when he had a substitute speaking for him than when he appeared himself.
I think that's one of the major problems with Nixon. He needs other people to help him along.
Has there been any numerical speculation as to how many seats the Republicans are likely to lose in the election?
No, I haven't got the report on that as yet.
So they're still kicking that around. There probably
sure
wouldn't be any agreement on it anyway. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's our news. Good afternoon.